Brooke, what would you say your opinion on the topic blame and guilt would be?
My opinion on the topic blame and guilt is that it is a huge thing in our society right now. It is absolutely awful. We blame people for things that aren't their fault, and we guilt ourselves into feeling like we aren't good enough for society's standards. It's been around for a really long time, and I don't think it's planning to go away anytime soon.
So, Brooke, have you yourself ever had an experience with blaming someone or feeling guilty for something?
Yeah, in the past, people have blamed me for things that I haven't done and made me feel guilty to make themselves feel better.
Do you know anyone, or are you friends with anyone that has had feelings of blaming guilt? And if so, how did they handle it? Did they handle it in either a good way or a bad way?
Well, I feel that everybody knows somebody who's handled blame and guilt before. Like 90% of the people in our community have handled it. And the people that I personally know, they've handled it very well by confronting the situation in a respectful way, or just letting it go and taking the route of being the bigger person and just not saying anything and not feeding the cat.
Brooke, for your next question, how well do you think that you yourself handle the feelings of blame or guilt?
Personally, I feel that I handle blame a lot better than I handle guilt. When I get blamed for something, if I know I didn't do it, then they can't blame me and be truthful about it. So it's like they're lying about it. And then for guilt, I feel that I've been guilt tripped so many times in the past, and more often than not, I do feel guilty in the end.
Do you have any final thoughts that you would like to say? And if you could you give us a life advice or just advice on it in general on how someone may have to deal with it, or just a decent way for someone to deal with the guilt and blame if something happens?
For advice, I'd say if you know the truth about the situation and you're blaming somebody or somebody is blaming you, obviously somebody's lying about something. The person who's blaming is 90% of the time lying, because there's always a truth behind everything. So if somebody's blaming you and you know the truth, you just have to accept the facts and state the facts. And then for guilt is a huge thing. It's very hard to cope with, and I don't really have tips for it. I just know that sometimes you just have to take the higher road and know that not everything is always your fault, and that sometimes other people can mess up too, and that nobody else in this world is perfect. And truthfully, I don't think blame and guilt are ever going to go away. They are very normal human emotions to have, and it's what people resort to out of anger and sadness quite a bit. And I think that it is probably one of the worst things that our society is dealing with right now.
Well, thank you very much, Brooke, and thank you for letting us interview you.